going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chucky, I didn't say.
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are having a great night so far. Happy Friday. Friday. Hope you guys had a great week. All right, I got to turn my phone on silent. Sorry. All right, phone's on silent. All right. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are well. This is my last scheduled stream for at least a week. So let's have fun. Yeah? Got a long one for you. I've got a long clip, and then I've got a couple shorter ones to, cleanse the palate after this first one. This first one is, it's a little intense, and I'm not 3 minutes early. It's 8 o'clock. No, you go away. You go away for 3 minutes, and you come back. All right. Let's watch some court, everyone. We are going. I don't even remember who this judge is now. No, you distracted me. Oh, Tammi Howard, Judge Howard, out of Georgia. Okay, this one's good, and yeah, Chuck E. Cheese even makes a little appearance here. Okay, I'm rambling. No, I can't even get back. No, stop getting in my head. All right, before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick back flips. Let's go.
Boston. This is 2022 CR 01949. Anthony Edward Boston Jr. is before the court on criminal trespass. The state has filed a motion to revoke bond, and Mr. Boston is present and represented by the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Mr. Owen Lynch is present on behalf of Mr. Boston, and the state is represented by attorney ASG Jermaine Hagler, and we're ready to go forward at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. Officer. Officer Green, are you on? Okay, 1 second.
What's up, AA Ron?
And before I swear Officer Green in, Your Honor, I would like you to take judicial notice that in the case that's on the calendar, the criminal trespass case, there is an order for bond on the record that was signed by Judge Charity Bridgewater, and that order for bond was signed on May 13th of 2022. And in that bond order, the defendant was to stay away from Cassie Benz and was to also not violate any laws while on bond.
Okay, this court will take judicial notice.
Thank you. Okay. Officer Green, can you please raise your right hand?
OH.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And Officer Green, can you please state your first and last name for the record?
My name is Officer Brandon Green.
And can you please spell your first and last name for the record?
Yeah, first name Brandon, Brandon. Last name Green, Green.
And how are you employed?
I'm currently employed with Clayton County Police Department, assigned to the division, uniform division.
Okay. And how long have you been employed with the Clayton County Police Department?
ILL, yeah, I've got two schools. Well, I'm not even going down a tangent. I don't need to go down. I'm not a huge Buckeyes fan. I'm from Ohio, so I root for them. I don't want them to lose, I guess I should say. But I am from Illinois, and I am an Illinois fan. But I graduated from the University of Cincinnati, so I'm a Bearcat. I've got this little triangle thing going on. We have, the Buckeyes, the Bearcats, and the Illini. College sports are hard for me. That's why I pretty much just stay with the Bengals. Bengals and the Reds. I don't have to fight any allegiances there.
Man.
5 years.
Thank you. And 1 second, Your Honor.
Biggin, you actually rated at the perfect time. There is a little pause in this video, and you rated it literally at the perfect time because I didn't cut this out because I wanted you to I wanted to show like she's struggling right now, and I think that actually has something to do with what she's about to say, and I will explain that here in a second. But Biggin, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you all for coming over from Biggin. I appreciate it. Biggin had a great show tonight, didn't he? Biggin really did have a great show tonight. I would say go ahead. If one of my mods could drop Biggin's link, that would be amazing. But I feel like everyone here is already there.
Did you intend to be?
Yeah, give me 1 second, Your Honor, please.
Okay. Yeah.
She's trying to find the facts of this case. Yeah. Anyways, I don't remember what I was saying, but Biggin, thank you so much for anyone that hangs out with me that doesn't know Biggin. You should go watch him. You really should. It's a good time. It's a really good time. Also, while we're doing this, Rachel, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it, Rachel. Thank you, Detective Rachel, Courtroom 234 moderator. What's up, peeps? Good to see you, peeps. Good to see you. There you go. Thank you, Serena. Thank you. Well, you're not going to be able to click on that because you forgot the space in between Biggin and the link, but there's a link. There's the link. Hold on. I saw Tupac. What does he say? Who is Biggin? Is that the guy on Georgia? He probably is on Georgia. Georgia's on his mind. He's on Georgia. He's in Georgia. He's outside of Georgia. He is Georgia. He is the state of Georgia. This is a really good one. Also, giant shout out to Credence and Mikey, who put this video out earlier today. And the second I saw him go with that, I messaged him. I'm like, man, I saved this all week long for Friday night. It was a long clip, and I saved it for Friday because it was perfect to end the week on. And his response back to me was, you stole the placenta lady. You played her, I think that was 2 nights ago. You stole the placenta lady, so now we're even. I was like, okay, fair enough. So giant shout out to Credence and Mikey. He did play this earlier today. And Daniel
at this time, the state is going to.
Dennis Samuels. Thank you. Not Daniel. Dennis Samuels. Thank you so much for being a member for 6 months. Happy year. Howdy to you. Thank you so much for being a member. I appreciate it. Okay. I think we're this is when the case gets going now.
Withdraw the motion to revoke.
No objection.
All right. So the motion to revoke bond on Boston will be withdrawn at this time. And Mr. Green, I just remind you.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I disagree with that. Like, y'all keep allowing this to happen. He violated the conditions of the bond because he came in contact with me and took my child.
Ms. Benz, I want to unmute you, but the problem is when you were in court, I remember telling you that there were certain things that you needed to do that you have not done. If you believe that a crime was committed and he interfered with custody of your child, you need to file a police report and ask for a warrant. or you can go to the Superior Court if you all have an agreement about custody and visitation.
There is no agreement, and he violated the conditions of the bond. I am suing y'all. I am suing y'all. He has contacted me and threatened me several times, and you keep allowing this man to walk. My son is a part of me. He has no custody in the state of Georgia at all. At all. Defect emailed y'all and told y'all they did not give him custody of that child. They've been looking for him, and he has not complied in giving an address to where the child even is. Nobody is following the law. And you are the judge that sets the law. I'm a victim, and you are allowing my abuser to keep my child and continue to abuse me emotionally and mentally.
All right, couple things real quick. First thing is you guys just came from Biggin where people like to yell. And welcome. I feel like that was a perfect segue into that raid. Also, Judge Howard was very like she let her rant. This is the victim. This is the victim. So she's talking, she's upset. Judge Howard is letting her talk, which I do appreciate that. She's not going to threaten contempt over a victim. She could potentially do that, but it does calm down a little bit. But there's still more yelling. But I do appreciate Judge Howard not completely shutting her off and letting her be heard. Again, she's the victim here, potentially, allegedly.
It's unfair and it's injustice.
I keep saying Howard. Why do I keep saying Howard? I think I said that last night too. I think I've gotten judges' names wrong all week. It's Tammi Howard. I think I even put Howard in the description. Man. All right. Thank you guys so much for letting me know. Because it is Hayward. It's not Howard. Words are tough, especially on Fridays.
All right. Ms. Benz, courtroom 304. Ms. Hagler, we're going into a breakout room.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Benz, when I send you the invitation to the breakout room, click on it and come into the breakout room.
I'm leaving. I'm going to my attorney's office right now. I have nothing else to say to this court.
Okay, well, Ms. Benz, I've asked you to take the certain steps.
Listen, you asked me to take the certain step, and when I went and did the things that you told me to do, when I went down to the police headquarters, that lady came from behind that desk and said that you said the judge order in the system said that he had custody, that the defense told you he had custody of that child. Then 2 weeks later,
I didn't say anything about custody. I don't know anything about custody, so I know I didn't say that. There's nothing in the computer that says that. All right, breakout room, Mr. Lynch.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm joining now.
All right, I fast forwarded now. I think we got I actually remember the phase in, phase out. Look at me with the editing skills. Tupac, thank you so much. Colin wants to be funny, not to dox, but we all know Biggin is from a place named their hockey team Macon Whoopee. Is that real? Yeah. I don't think we're doxing him. I'm not saying what city he's in. I think we all know he's from Georgia. If that's doxing, I apologize, but he says it a lot. I'm not going to say what city he's in, but yeah, he's in Georgia. The best sports team name ever. Yeah. No, there's a Trash Panda team. There is I think it's minor league baseball that named their team the Trash Pandas. So I'm gonna disagree. I think the Trash Pandas are a better name. Just saying. But Tupac, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, all right. Yeah. No, I am all over the place. This is my last night, essentially before vacation. Heather's going to be here tomorrow. So this is my last stream before vacation. So yeah, I am a little all over the place. I'm a little giddy. I still got a few things to do before I go to bed tonight. So yeah, I'm a little all over the place. Improved editing skills. Check. Yes. Thank you so much, Sparkle. I appreciate it. Sparkle, you're awesome. Okay. All right, let's go.
PR 01949, Anthony Edward Boston Jr. Mr. Boston currently has a criminal trespass. The parties are ready to go forward. Previously, the state had announced that it was going to withdraw the motion, but after a conversation with all parties, the state has decided to proceed. The court has taken judicial notice of May 13, 2022. Magistrate Court Judge Charity Bridgewater issued an order for bond in the case, ordering that Mr. Boston have no contact with the named alleged victim, in this case, Cassie Benz, and also that he not commit any additional offenses. So at this time, the state is ready to go forward. They've called Officer Brandon Green.
Yes.
Officer Green, you've been sworn and you're ready to.
I told him that one time. One time. Not all night. I've not been telling you that all night. It was once. It was once because your logic, you out-logicked me. You said something that was smarter than what I said, so I didn't like it. So my response was, I hate you. So, yeah, in that moment I did, because you can't out-logic me. And when you do, I'm just, I just hate you. Done. Twice. It wasn't twice. Nope, it wasn't twice. I'm going to call bullshit on them. All right, this is a long hearing. We need to get through this hearing. Lone Wolf, stop interrupting me. No, stop interrupting me. You guys are bad influences. Okay, let's go.
Go forward with testimony at this time. All righty, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. And were you employed with the Colin County Police Department on November the 29th of 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And are you post-certified and credentialed?
I am.
No, we'll never know. It's a breakout room. It's between the attorneys. So, the attorney and the defendant, the prosecutor and the victim. We'll never know what's there. But I'm guessing the victim said a lot where the prosecutor was like, okay, we'll go forward with this. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to go forward with it. So that's all we can assume. So on with the hearing. Also, the defendant never says a word. This guy who just looks innocent in his little light blue shirt. I don't know if that's blue, green. I don't know. I feel like everyone's yelling except for him. He's just sitting there like, what is going on?
And are all of your credentials up to date?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you post-certified and credentialed on that date?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have arrest powers?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have powers to obtain warrants?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have the power to obtain a warrant on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you working in your official capacity on that day as well?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Okay. And were you dispatched to 335 Upper Riverdale Road, Southeast Georgia, 30236?
Yes, I was.
And what was the nature of that call?
I responded to that location at the Chuck E. Cheese establishment in reference to a domestic disturbance.
Do you know what was specifically said regarding the domestic disturbance?
Yes, Miss Benz was having a birthday party for her and Mr. Anthony's child that they share together. I made contact with her. She advised that they got into an argument about Mr. Anthony bringing his girlfriend to the party against her wishes, so they stepped outside, to where she then stated that he started becoming irritated and irate and knocked the birthday cake out her hand, and then proceeded to shove her on the ground where she scraped her elbows before he hopped in the car and drove off.
Okay. And do you see the defendant in this case today?
Yes, ma'am. I believe that's him.
And can you just identify what article of clothing he's wearing?
If I can get the screen to large up. That's the gentleman standing in the courtroom right there behind his attorney.
Okay. And what color is he wearing?
I'll make this screen bigger. It's a collar shirt. It's hard for me to make out the color. It's a light colored collar shirt.
Okay. Your Honor,
See, the officer doesn't even know what color that is. I'm not the only one. Colors are hard. See? Proven.
The record reflect that Officer Green has identified defendant for this motion to revoke bond hearing.
Record shall reflect that.
Thank you. During your investigation, you say you spoke with Ms. Cassie Benz. Is she the victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you spoke with her, describe her demeanor. How was her demeanor when you spoke with her on that day?
She was upset. She appeared to be in like an emotional distress state.
Mhm.
And she had the bruises and marks on her elbow.
Okay. Did she indicate to you how she received those bruises and marks on her elbow?
Yes, she advised that she received them from Mr. Anthony when they had stepped outside, to where things went from a verbal argument to a physical altercation, where he had shoved her on the ground.
And when you arrived on the scene, was the defendant there?
No, he had already left the scene.
Okay. Were there any other witnesses to the scene that you spoke with on that day?
No, there was no witnesses once because they had stepped outside away from the party.
Okay. And how did you conclude your investigation?
By determining Mr. Anthony as the primary aggressor, and then I went on to obtain warrants for family violence battery.
Did you obtain any other warrants on that day?
Just the one for the battery.
Okay. Any other warrants besides that one on that day that you obtained for the defendant?
No, I only took out the battery warrant.
Okay. And why did you obtain the warrant for the battery, family violence?
Because of the physical altercation where physical contact was made, and she had received the visible injuries on her elbows.
Okay.
Yeah, the young boy was turning 2 years old. I don't think he's ever going to remember that birthday. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what age you start setting up memories. I know there's science behind it, but I don't know if it's 2. So lucky for them, this is going to be handled in the courts, and hopefully the child actually never sees this. Hopefully. Also, while I'm paused, this is why I paused it. MB, thank you so much for the PayPal. I appreciate it. That was generous of you. Have a great vacation. Appreciate all the entertainment. Thank you so much, MB. I thank you so much. Thank you.
And at some point, was the defendant arrested on your warrants? On your warrant? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. I believe at one point he was arrested on the warrant.
Okay. No further questions for Officer Green.
Thank you, Mayor. Proceed.
Yes.
Eileen, I don't know if they've said it yet. So yeah, don't worry. You don't have to. Yeah, I may have just said it before they did. No worries.
Officer Green, could you just tell the court the date that you responded to the Chuck E. Cheese?
November 29th of 2020.
Okay. And so you responded and you spoke to Miss Benz, is that correct?
Correct.
And you learned that there was a party going on for her son that she had with my client, Mr. Boston, is that correct?
Correct.
And so you had knowledge that there was at least several people in attendance at that party, correct?
Correct.
And you could have gone into the party and talked to additional witnesses to verify Ms. Benz's claims, is that correct?
There was no witnesses outside to witness the incident.
You didn't speak to anybody at the party. Well, let me ask you this. Did you ask anyone at the party who was there first, my client, Mr. Boston, or Mr. Benz? Did you verify that?
Did I verify what now?
Did you verify who arrived to the party first, my client or Ms. Benz?
I believe she was there first.
And that's just based on what she told you, isn't that correct?
Correct.
You could have verified that by talking to any witness at the party, isn't that correct?
if they wish to talk to me.
In the course, when you're investigating a incident, you have the opportunity to speak to people who are present, and you did not do that in this case, correct?
Yeah, we can't force people to talk to us.
I understand. Ms. Benz told you that the altercation started when she saw Mr. Boston's new girlfriend. Is that correct?
You guys did what now?
Ms. Benz told you that she was upset because of Mr. Boston's girlfriend being present at the party. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, that's what the verbal argument started at.
Did you speak to the girlfriend?
They were gone.
Okay. You verified the girlfriend was gone?
No, she wasn't involved in the crime
How do you know?
because she advised me that it was Mr. Anthony that assaulted her.
So again, Ms.
It's them two out there.
Essentially, all the information you have about what happened comes from Ms. Benz. Isn't that correct?
Hello? Hey, were you able to make contact? I turned it off. I don't know what happened.
Ms. King,
Were
please.
you able to
Hello, whoever's talking, mute, please. Everybody mute unless I'm talking to you or you're involved in this hearing. Thank you.
Okay, I just actually scared myself because I thought that was an editing mistake. I did the same thing when I was editing the video. When I was going through it, I heard that. I was like, wait a second, I need to go back and cut that out. And then Judge Hayward, not Judge Howard, said, hello, mute yourself. Okay, we're back on page. We're back on page. Anyways, BJ, happy birthday. Happy birthday. And sorry you had to, you spent your birthday watching that case. Was it at least interesting? I've stayed away from it on purpose. Yeah. I'm guessing, I think I know who you're talking about, and I'm guessing it's obvious, but I've stayed away from that case on purpose. Anyways, happy birthday, BJ.
All right, go back to Officer Green. I'm sorry, Mr. Lynch, repeat your question.
I don't believe I have any further questions. Everyone on the
Oh my goodness. If I have to say it one more time, I'm gonna remove you from the hearing and you won't be able to get back in. So if you are not the person I am speaking to or involved in this hearing, mute your device. Keep it muted. All right, continue.
Judge, I do not have any further questions for this officer.
All right, any redirect?
Not for Officer Green, Your Honor.
All right, does the state have additional witnesses to present?
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to call Ms. Cassie Benz, please.
All right, Ms. Benz, remember you are testifying in a court of law. Please answer the questions asked, okay?
Ms. Benz, if you can please unmute yourself and turn your camera on. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Benz, sit down. Are you sitting?
I am.
Okay, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. So you're before the court as a witness for the state in this matter. Ms. Hagler has some questions for you. Mr. Lynch will also have some questions for you. And Ms. Hagler, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Benz, I would like to draw your attention to November 29th of 2020. Do you remember that day?
Yes, it's my son's birthday.
Okay. And please tell the court what happened on that day.
On that day, I had a party for my son at Chuck E. Cheese. Mr. Boston brought the girlfriend to the party who we already had a conversation on not having her around my son because of the dynamic of the situation. The girlfriend was presented as the best friend and they were sleeping around with each other. And then once we separated and the altercation happened, she presented herself as the girlfriend. And
Objection, relevance.
And it was taunting. It was a taunting situation where they were nitpicking at me, like, hi, I'm here, hi, regardless of what you say. So when we were at the Chuck E. Cheese, I came in with the cake. We were running a little behind. and I came in with the cake, and we were setting the table up, and Mr. Boston's girlfriend had my son in her hands playing basketball.
Okay. And how old was your son turning that day?
2.
Okay. And then what happened next? You said that defendant's girlfriend had your son in his hands. What happened after that?
I asked Mr. Boston, could we step outside to speak?
Mhm.
Everybody left out. We grabbed the cake. Everybody left out the door, and there were no other people there. It was just me and my kids, and Mr. Boston and his girlfriend and her children. And as we were outside speaking, Mr. Boston got upset because of the things that I was saying, and he told me not to step towards him and his girlfriend. The girlfriend started arguing with me, and as I was talking, Mr. Boston knocked the cake out my hand, and he shoved me on the ground. And they got in the car, he grabbed my son, and they left.
And so when the defendant shoved you to the ground, did you sustain any injuries?
Yes, I scraped my elbows, both of my elbows on the ground.
Okay. And what did you do next?
I called the police.
Okay. And then after you called the police, what did you do next after that?
The manager from Chuck E. Cheese came outside, and she was like, I saw the whole situation. She's like, I actually called the police as well.
Objection.
Sustained.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you for objecting to that, but you didn't object to the whole backstory of the dude's girlfriend. Yeah, I actually don't remember who said it. He shouldn't have brought the girlfriend, especially if this, the mother of his child thinks that he was cheating on her with this girlfriend. Yeah, don't bring her to the party. That's not gonna. It's never gonna end well. So, and I'm not saying this guy's innocent. Never said that one bit. I just said I like how there's a lot of yelling going on between the judge, the prosecutor, the victim, and the defendant never says a word. That's all I said.
When at some point the police arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes,
And
you have to say yes or no, Ms. Benz, because
Yes, when the police arrived on the scene.
okay. And did you explain to the police officer what happened?
Yes, I explained to the police officers what happened. My daughters also explained to the police officers what took place in front of them. They were crying hysterically. This is not the first incident of him putting his hands on me in front of my kids. A person can say what they want out their mouth. You can't get upset and put your hands on a person because of their words.
And prior to this incident, was there another incident between you and the defendant?
Yes, I had a home in Riverdale. I had a townhome. Mr. Boston was living with me in my home and my 4 children.
I'm gonna object to relevance.
Well, Your Honor, this is relevant as it goes to the motion to revoke bond and the fact that the defendant did violate the order.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you guys know what this case is about. Trespassing. This is a trespassing case. The defendant was charged with trespassing from, I'm guessing, the victim's home, her home. And so he wasn't allowed to go back to the premises. He didn't have a no contact order against her, which is why he was allowed to go to the birthday party. They're trying to revoke his bond based on the fact that he went to the birthday party and there was an altercation, which is why the prosecutor said at the beginning of this, words are hard. The motion to revoke bond, she was taken aback. What's the word? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. She was taken aback. And that's when the victim started going off and yelling. They went into a breakout room, and now they're having the hearing. It's a trespass. They weren't at her home. Just saying. This whole thing is a waste of time, in my opinion. No, it's not dismiss. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's when withdraw. She was withdrawing the motion. She was withdrawing the motion to revoke bond because it happened at Chuck E. Cheese. It didn't happen at her home.
Referring to the criminal trespass case?
Yes, which happened before this case.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Me and my children were home watching TV. Me and Mr. Boston we were in a disagreement, and I asked him to leave, to move out of my home. Mr. Boston came to my home about, I don't know what time it was. It was late. I got a knock on the door. He was banging on my door. He was drunk. I said, no, you're not coming in tonight. You need to come back when you're sober. Mr. Boston got upset because I wouldn't allow him in my home. He bust out my windows in my living room, came through my window, and jumped on me.
I'm going to object again, Judge. She's not referring to the criminal trespass case. She's referring to another case that happened previously. The bond condition.
That's what he got the criminal trespassing charge for, because he came to my property and he did not live there, and he busted out my windows and attacked me.
All right, so.
Separate case, Judge.
I'm sorry?
She's referring to a completely separate case that Mr. Boston pled nolo contendere to, which is not the case that we're here about today.
Oh, you're talking about the case in
Ms. Vance, let the attorneys work this part out, okay?
I'm not understanding what he's saying.
Well, you don't need to, because this is something I need to decide between the attorneys.
She is not.
I need you to be quiet right now.
Judge.
Okay, Mr. Lynch, what's going on now?
Ms. Benz is not referencing the criminal trespass case. As you heard her talking about Mr. Boston jumping on her, that is not alleged in the criminal trespass case that we're here about. She's referring to a prior case that has been disposed, and bond is not relevant to that prior case.
Yes, it is.
That case has
Ms.
been.
Benz, stop. Certain things that we're discussing are legal matters. There are matters of law, not what your opinion is. I gotta decide those. Now, you have made several statements that I've let you get away with, but I'm done. You have alleged that the DFACS has sent me a letter or called me. I have had no contact with DFACS. And let me just tell you, only time I have anything having to do with children is if a crime has been committed against a child that is a misdemeanor offense. DFACS has not contacted me in this case. I have no knowledge of any relationship or the fact that your child may or may not be with Mr. Boston. I have no knowledge of that. I am not the judge who would receive that information. So when you keep saying that DFACS has told you, DFACS has told me nothing. They've never contacted me. They've never sent me anything. I've never communicated with them. So when I tell you that there are legal matters that you may not understand pertaining to this case, and I'm trying to parse it out and explain as we go, but what I'm telling you is you have an idea about what's going on and how we've wronged you. And I'm telling you, I have no clue about what you're talking about, because I'm not the judge that would even get that contact. Okay. It's not part of this case. Particular things that go on with the status of a child, visitation with a child, custody of a child, all of those belong to the Superior Court, which is on the 4th floor. They have exclusive jurisdiction over certain matters, which means only a Superior Court judge can deal with them, or a magistrate court judge can deal with them if an offense is brought before the magistrate prior to being transferred to Superior Court. That's it. I'm in the middle. So that stuff that you keep telling about, I'm keeping you from your child, or I'm not doing enough, I don't have the ability to do that. That's Superior Court or Magistrate Court. Okay? So when you start talking about what is or isn't happening for the purposes of what I have to decide today, let the attorneys present the information. Let me decide any arguments that may have. And when you're ready to speak again, I'll let you know. Okay? All right. Now, Mr. Lynch, you're saying that this is a different issue than the one where a bond was issued. So if we're talking about a closed case.
She's referencing a closed.
All right. I was waiting for Judge Hayward to finish so I could address this. I tell everyone they talk too much. Just saying. It doesn't mean you're talking too much. I just like poking fun at people. So if I actually did say I think you talk too much, I was teasing you. So if don't take what I say serious. Never take what I say serious. Unless your name's Noah No. Then take everything I say serious. Other than that, it's just me teasing.
Case. The state alleged in 2022 CR 01949, the case at which the state is trying to revoke the bond for, that my client committed the offense of criminal trespass. There is no reference to any physical contact. There is an allegation that 2 holes were placed in a door at Mr. Boston's residence, not at Miss Benz's residence. She's referring to a totally separate case. And whether or not that's relevant, I just want the court to be clear what.
Okay, what was the date of the case that Ms. Benz is referring to, Ms. Hagler?
You do not mess with the sanctity that is the Chuck E. Cheese. Absolutely, I take it seriously. You go to Chuck E. Cheese to have fun and eat crappy pizza and watch animatronics scare the crap out of your kids. You don't go there to fight. Come on. Everyone knows that. It's a sacred place.
That was gonna be my question. Ms. Benz, what case are you referring to when you said that he jumped on you? Because I'm not referring to that case. I'm referring to another case. But what was the date?
I'm sorry, so many people keep calling my phone. This was in 2019, and the home we shared was not Mr. Boston's home. That was our home where all our children lived.
Okay.
And Mr. Boston attacked me in that home as well and destroyed my prayer room.
Okay, so Ms. Benz, so now, Mr. Lynch, what you're saying is that was a case that has since been resolved by a NOLO plea?
Correct. And as far as the 2019 case, I would ask Your Honor not to take that into consideration. First of all, I don't believe that a NOLO plea is supposed to be used in this manner, but either way, it's not relevant to the bond because that case has been closed. He has entered a plea.
I just assume that everyone knows what Chuck E. Cheese is. That's a bad assumption on my side. Chuck E. Cheese is okay. So imagine a McDonald's play place. You know, like the tubes and the ball pit at McDonald's. There's a giant one of those connected with an arcade. You know, arcade and games where they give out tickets. Then you have the little counter where you exchange your tickets for cheap prizes. And then they have this area that's a stage. There's like, I think there were four members of the Chuck E. Cheese cast. And they're all different animals. And they were animatronics. They, all they did was like move their hands and move their mouth. And they essentially played Happy Birthday. And they would sing Happy Birthday and, sing a couple other songs. But they were animatronics. So they were creepy. I actually still think that's where Five Nights at Freddy's comes from, is the animatronics from Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like it might be. And yeah, Wixom. When I was a kid, I loved that pizza. I absolutely love that pizza, but I just imagine it's not good pizza. I don't know. It might be good. I haven't had that pizza since I was like 6, so I have no idea. So if I offended anyone was saying that it's not good pizza, I don't know. I've actually seen it in the frozen pizza aisle, so they're actually selling it as frozen pizza now. So maybe I should pick it up and try it. All right. That's what Chuck E. Cheese is, though. Okay, let's go.
Disposed of. Now, what she just referenced, I believe she was starting to allude to the case that bond was issued and that the state is trying to revoke his bond on the criminal trespass case, which allegedly occurred in May of 2020.
All right. So, Ms. Benz, can we direct you to the case that you said, Ms. Hagler, it happened at Mr. Boston's home?
No, I did not say that, but you're right, Judge. I do want to direct.
Please direct her to the particular offense that you're talking about. So, yes, Ms. Benz, listen very carefully to what she's asking you, because in order for either side to make their case, we have to be very specific about what events we're talking about. Okay. So when she's directing you, listen, don't just say everything that's ever happened, because I'm sure you and Mr. Boston have quite a long history, but there's some specific things that the court has to hear. And so it's better if you listen and answer the question that she asked you specifically. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. Hagler.
Yes, ma'am. And so, Ms. Benz, I do want to pick up with, you mentioned the prayer room. Talk about that incident that occurred on May 7th of 2020.
Yes, Mr. Boston had been drinking that day. He was really intoxicated. And what we were arguing about, I cannot recall. I was walking up the stairs and I had said something to him that he didn't like. And when I said that, Mr. Boston struck me in the hallway. We started fighting in the hallway. And after we were fighting in the hallway, Mr. Boston proceeded to go downstairs into our den area into a room that I turned into my prayer room, where I have my prayer area where I pray, and I have certain things in that room. And he went down there and destroyed the room. He flipped over all the bookcases that I had, all my ancestors' pictures. He broke them. He broke the vessels that I received, the way I practice my religion. He broke everything in that room. He destroyed it. When the police got there, he had left.
Was there anything else destroyed in your in the home on that day?
Yes, he put 2 holes in the wall from us physically fighting.
Okay. At some point, did you call the police on that incident?
Yes, I called the police.
Okay. 1 second, Your Honor. And did you record or annotate any of the damages in that incident?
Don't do that. Don't do that, legal fiction. Don't. But yeah, he probably did. He probably did. Again, this guy's probably has a temper. I'm not saying he doesn't, but the witness, the victim, is just, she needs to know how to answer questions. She should have been coached a little bit more, but she's a victim. I don't know if victims are coached. I don't know. But again, they're trying to revoke his bond of trespassing for something that didn't happen at her home. It's not going to work. This hearing's a waste of time. But it's funny and it's entertaining. Okay, I shouldn't say it's funny because it's, these are people's lives. It's not funny. It is slightly entertaining, though. Sorry to say that. Brian, thank you so much. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Brian.
That day. Yes, I have pictures of the damages.
And can you please specify what the pictures are of?
Yes, the pictures of the holes in the wall in the prayer room. The damages to the prayer room.
Thank you, Your Honor, for the question at this time for Ms. Benz.
Cross-examination, Mr. Lynch.
Yes, Judge. So you mentioned, Ms. Benz, you and Mr. Boston's children that you have together. Isn't it true that you only have 1 child together?
Yes, we have 1 biological child together, but me and Mr. Boston was together since 2015.
Okay. And the address where this criminal trespass that you just mentioned, that was 8260 Holly Drive in Jonesboro, correct?
Yes, that's on my ID.
Okay. And how much was the rent at that location?
Our rent was
Objection relevance.
She claimed that she lived at the location.
I'm a resident at that home, and it's a valid. As long as I receive mail there, I'm a resident of that home. I don't have to pay a bill there as long as I receive mail there, sir. That's
okay. So just to clarify, Mr. Boston paid all the rent and allowed you and your 3 children to live there for free.
No, he did not pay all the rent. Me and Mr. Boston went in on bills together.
Okay. So on the incident where he allegedly put holes in the wall, you said that he jumped on you in that incident?
Yes, sir.
You wrote a sworn statement in that incident in the police report, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
And in that sworn statement, you didn't make any mention of him making any physical contact with you whatsoever, isn't that correct?
Can you read the sworn statement, sir?
I sure can. At the date top, it says May 7th, 2020, time 7:42, name Cassie Bria Danae Benz. Starting from the beginning, Anthony Boston Jr. and I got into a verbal disagreement about the children coloring all over the walls while I was in the bathroom doing my hair. The argument led to Anthony Boston Jr. snapping, punching the walls, and destroying my prayer room. He crushed my spiritual tool, which is called an egun pot, as well as my altar I built for my ancestors, being very violent in front of my kids. I called 911 and he fled the scene. Why is there no mention of physical contact?
Because when Mr. Boston came up the hallway, I was in the restroom doing my hair. He got upset because our son that we shared together, and at the time, my 3-year-old daughter, they were coloring and they colored on the wall. So he got upset and started snapping and talking to the kids crazy. And I told him not to speak to the children like that. And when I said what I said to him, he got upset and he mushed me into the wall. That's how the door hit the wall and put the hole in the door, in the wall.
Why didn't you include that in your statement?
I did. And that's, if you have the officer, they had it recorded. You can pull the recording up, the video from the officer's camera.
And you are aware that the officer does have a body cam recording, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, you have to say yes or no, Ms. Benz.
I am aware.
Now, I want to move on to the 2020, November 29th, 2020 allegation that you mentioned that happened at the Chuck E. Cheese. Isn't it true that you found out that this party was going on while the party was already going on? And
No,
Mr.
sir.
Boston was already there. Isn't that true?
That is not true.
You said you arrived late to the party in your earlier testimony.
I set up the party and asked him to bring my child, to drop my child off at his party. He brought the girlfriend and her 3 children who were not allowed to be around me because she kept telling him my child was autistic and my son is not autistic. She don't even want my son at his house, at her house. My son can't even go to her house when he's there.
Ms.
She
Benz,
doesn't want
Ms.
me
Benz,
or
Ms.
my
Benz, Ms.
child.
Benz. You're not answering the questions he's asking you.
I'm just saying he's trying.
Not just saying. I need to know
No,
specifically.
I set the
to
party.
make-
I set the party up.
Okay. Did you pay for the party?
I paid for my children to play. I put money on their cards for them to play at the Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay. Who called and said, "Hey, can I reserve a party room?" Is that the way it works at Chuck E. Cheese, or do you just go?
You could just go, and if they have a table available, you can, grab the table, order the pizza, set a little table up if you want to, or you can do a birthday party package where they set a big table and an area up for you. Unfortunately, at that time, I could not afford that.
Okay, so you all just were gonna go there and celebrate once you got there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Mr. Lynch.
So, Ms. Benz, when you arrived, Mr. Boston was already present at the Chuck E. Cheese, isn't that correct?
Yes, Mr. Boston was there.
Mr. Boston was there. And you knew that he was there, correct?
No.
You said you were upset because he was there with the girlfriend that you didn't know. So
No, we know her, but we knew her as the best friend.
Mhm.
They were sleeping together behind my back in my home.
So it's your testimony today that you didn't know that Mr. Boston was at the party at the Chuck E. Cheese's?
I didn't know the girlfriend or him was there when I arrived. No.
You didn't?
You knew he was coming,
Yes.
and he was expected to bring your child.
The child was expected to be dropped off. Not
Okay.
him, not the girlfriend, just the child.
Okay, but when he came, when was the first time you knew that he was there and that the girlfriend were there?
When I came,
Hey, I talk about Bruno. Thank you so much. I will have a great week. But thank you. Have a great night.
in, I set my table up, and when I turned, Mr. Boston and the girlfriend was already in the corner with my son.
Okay.
But my son was supposed to be dropped off to me.
Okay, so when you said he was supposed to be dropped off to you, were you supposed to get there? Mr. Boston was gonna call you and then bring your son to you?
Yes, so when I got there, someone was supposed to bring Amir to the location, to the
And when
party.
you say someone, who was that?
Either his mom, his sister, because we weren't supposed to be in contact with each other.
Don't worry, Wixom. I've already got plans. I've already ordered the flowers, and I've already made reservations. I could say that because Heather's not here. She is at a concert right now with her friends. Her plane leave, which it blows my mind that she went to a concert tonight and her plane leaves at 5 a.m. tomorrow. She better not miss her flight. She better not miss it. But Wixom, thank you so much for your generosity, and I've already taken care of that on you. Thank you. On behalf of you, I guess I should say. Thank you.
Okay, so did his mom come to the party?
Nobody came. No.
So it was just Mr. Boston and the girlfriend
Yes.
and her children.
Yes.
And at the time, you said y'all weren't supposed to be in contact. Were you aware that there was a no contact provision?
I was not aware of the no contact provision. I was just aware that from the previous situation that, me and him, we don't do good with trying to figure things out between each other. And for my safety, the kid's safety, and his safety, let's just try to find somebody else to communicate through.
All right, and these arrangements, did you make them by phone or text message?
By phone.
Muse, I honestly don't even remember. It's an Australian cover band of a 80s group. Apparently it's really popular around her area. She goes every year with her friends, and this year it just happened to be tonight. I don't remember what group it is. She sent me pictures, and the pictures don't tell me anything. But I honestly don't remember. I'm a terrible boyfriend. But it's an Australian cover band. It's an Aussie cover band covering an 80s group, and her friends go every year, and they absolutely love it. That's pretty much what I know.
Okay, so you had spoken to Mr. Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you spoke to Mr. Boston, and y'all agreed that your son would arrive at the party.
Yes.
What time was your son supposed to arrive at the party?
I can't remember exactly what time. I can't recall the time.
Okay, was it day? Was it evening?
It was in the it was probably about 3 o'clock. I would say about probably 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. And how many people were you expecting at this party?
My sister, two of my sisters. My sister was going to bring her stepkids, her 3 stepkids, and I had a friend that was coming with her daughter as well.
And had they arrived by the time that Mr. Boston was there?
No, when I arrived, I had texted everybody and told them I was there, and everybody was en route. We wasn't even there 5 minutes before I asked him, can we step outside and talk? And the girlfriend came outside too to talk too. And that's when the situation escalated.
All right, Mr. Lynch, continue.
So it's your testimony that your sisters talked to the police. You testified to that, correct?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
We didn't say anything about the sister talk to the police. The police just told
No,
you.
the testimony was that she talked to the police and a minor child talked to the police, her daughter.
You called 911 on at least 2 occasions. Isn't this correct? Didn't you call 911 on at least 2 occasions?
I'm not understanding what you're asking.
Did you call 911 to report your allegations that happened at the Chuck E. Cheese's?
Yes, I called 911.
And isn't it true that at the time you called 911, you were following Mr. Boston's car in your car?
No, sir.
So if the 911 recording does not have the 911 operator telling you not to follow Mr. Boston, that's your testimony?
I don't recall that, sir. And if I did, it was because your court system has failed.
All right. I just texted Heather. The mystery has been solved. It is the Aussie cover band of Pink Floyd. There we go. I couldn't remember Pink Floyd. Sorry, guys. But she's watching the Aussie cover band of Pink Floyd. All right. Mystery solved. We can get back on with the case.
Several times to protect me and my children from him assaulting me. So I wanted to make sure that they had a tag number or something to be able to serve Mr. Boston so that I can receive justice for a person not knowing how to control his anger and have self-control over himself. I can say whatever out my mouth. I can say whatever out my mouth.
All right,
if I don't put my hands on you, don't put your hands on me.
Ms. Benz, you're being non-responsive, which means that you're not answering the question.
I just answered his question.
Yeah, but then you went into this rant about people putting their hands on you. He asked you whether you followed the car or not. All right, Mr. Lynch, continue.
So at first you said you didn't follow the car, you didn't remember, but now you're explaining that you followed the car to try to get a tag number. Why did you make a false statement to the court just prior to the first question?
I said, sir, you know this case happened in 2020. It's 2024, 4 years down the line. My knowledge of each detail of how the situation and what happened and took place there, sir, is fuzzy. Okay.
And let me ask you this. You mentioned controlling anger. Do you ever have any issues controlling your anger?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Excuse me. Isn't it true that you tried to attack Mr. Boston's girlfriend at this Chuck E. Cheese's?
Objection relevant.
Okay. I'll move
You
on.
can pull the security camera and you can see everything.
Okay.
All right.
I don't have anything further at this time for Ms. Benz.
All right. Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
May I? Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt, Judge. I was just waiting for a chance to make some argument.
Okay. Does the state have any additional witnesses to present?
No, at this time, the state rests.
All right. Does the defense have witnesses or evidence to present on behalf of Mr. Boston?
No, Judge, we're not going to present any evidence today.
Okay. All right. Sorry. All right. All right. Let me hear argument.
Judge, may I proceed?
You may.
So first of all, and Ms. Hagler can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she indicated that the bond order was issued in 2022. This alleged incident happened in 2020. So he can't violate a bond that has not been set. So that's the first part of the argument. And I would, if I got that wrong, I would ask Ms. Hagler to correct.
Wait, whoa. Did my mind just get blown? Are they telling a story of what happened 4 years ago when the bond was set 2 years ago? I need to pay more attention to what's going on. I am reading the chat, texting my girlfriend. I need to stop. I need to stop and pay attention because that doesn't make sense. Is that really what's going on? Wow. Really? This girlfriend is this mother of this guy's child is trying to get his bond revoked on an incident that happened 2 years before his bond was even put in place? Oh, man. This just took a different twist I wasn't expecting. How did I miss that?
I will make my argument when it's time for me to make my argument.
Sure.
Thank you.
Secondly, Judge, Mr. Boston has announced ready for trial on both the alleged incident, the criminal trespass, and on the battery case. And he strongly contests the allegations of Ms. Benz. I would have him testify today, but in order to do that, we would have to let our trial strategy go. We would also have to have him give up his right against self-incrimination. And we don't feel that that's necessary at point. However, Judge, from the testimony of Ms. Benz, it's pretty apparent that she voluntarily had contact with Mr. Boston at the Chuck E. Cheese's, number one. Number two, it's our position that
Objection. It's Chuck E. Cheese, not Chuck E. Cheese's. Come on, guy. You're not too old to have never been to Chuck E. Cheese. There's no Chuck E. Cheese is. That's like saying Illinois.
well, so it's our position he did not violate any bond by having contact with Ms. Benz because Ms. Benz came to where he was. we're going to contest and we're going to present evidence at the trial that that she found out about the Chuck E. Cheese on the day.
Okay, but if that's evidence you're not willing to present here, you can't argue it here.
Exactly.
Sure, Judge. So I would also like to point out that Mr. Boston announced ready for the criminal trespass case, which there's no allegation of any physical contact, not in the statement that was given to police. And now, inconsistent with that, Ms. Binns says that there have been multiple inconsistencies in her testimony, and Your Honor can use that to determine her credibility. Ultimately, a jury is the most appropriate fact finder to determine what happened in this case. I would like to point out that this motion to revoke bond was filed September 4th, 2020, the very same day when the state.
No, I wasn't saying I didn't know who Pink Floyd was. I just knew that she was going to a cover band. That's what I remember. She said that her and her friends, we've been together for almost 4 years. So, and every year they go to this concert. And in my mind, it's like, oh, it's the concert. It's the cover band concert. I don't remember what band it is. That's how I remembered it until someone asked, like, what is it? I'm like, oh, no, I don't even know. She's going to her show thing that she does every year. So I asked her, and I got a very long message from her saying it's not a cover band. It's an epicness band because they put on the whole show. And so she does not want to call them a cover band. So apparently I'm getting yelled at from both sides now. But I know who Pink Floyd is.
Found out that when I announced to the state that we would not be entering pleas to either of these cases because we contest the allegations.
You mean 2024?
Sorry, 2024. So
okay.
Full approximately 4 years after the alleged bond violation. Mr. Boston has been in court for every appearance. Mr. Boston is not running away from these charges. Mr. Boston looks forward to his day in court where a jury can evaluate the credibility of the claims with regard to the criminal trespass case and with regard to the allegation of battery family violence. Mr. Boston works full-time as an electrician. Mr. Boston does not have an extensive criminal history. So, Judge, even if you were to find that there had been a bond violation, locking Mr. Boston up pre-trial is not the only action the court can take. So, number one, we would argue that has not been proven by a preponderance of the evidence. But number two, even if you believe that it has been, we would ask that you allow Mr. Boston to have his day in court. There would be no bond to violate if I had not gotten sick on the court date for the criminal trespass case. And I would ask you not to hold that against Mr. Boston either. He is aware of the bond conditions. He is not violating the bond conditions. He is willing to abide by any additional stipulations the court were to suggest in this case. But overall, Judge, based on what has been presented to this court, it has not been established that he violated his bond conditions. And again, even if it has, Judge, we would ask that you wait until he has his day in court. And then if he's convicted, then Your Honor obviously will have the ability to sentence him under the law.
Okay. All right, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Judge. The state would ask that you do revoke the defendant's bond until his trial. For clarity purposes, the order for bond that I did read out, yes, it was signed on May 13th of 2022, but on the bond order, it does have the criminal trespass damage to property case on there, warrant number 2020 CW 52107. And it also has the battery case that we're here today on as well. Again, the warrant number is 2020 CWC 1250. So both cases, the one that's currently on the calendar and the case that he's being revoked for, are on this one bond order. based on the testimony that we heard, we did hear from Officer Green, who did testify that on November 9th of 2020, he did respond to the incident location regarding battery of family violence. He did indicate that he did see visible injuries on the, he did indicate that he did see visible injuries on the defendant while at the Chuck E. Cheese. He did determine the defendant to be the primary aggressor. We also heard from Ms. Benz herself, who gave the same testimony that, the defendant did push her on that day while at Chuck E. Cheese and that she did sustain visible injuries. We also heard that there was a previous incident that again occurred on May 7th of 2020 in which the defendant did destroy her spiritual, her prayer room, her igun. He did put holes in the walls. And so, Your Honor, again, the order did say that he is to stay away from the defendant.
All right, I can't pass up this moment because we're talking about Pink Floyd, but come on, another hole in the wall. I mean, come on. It just rolls off the tongue, right?
From the victim, Ms. Cassie Benz, and to not violate any laws. The reason why this motion to revoke was not filed early is because I wasn't here 1, 2, 3 years ago. I got here in July of this year. So that is why it is just not being brought to the court's attention now. And so for those reasons, testimony of Ms. Benz and testimony of Officer Green, we would ask that you revoke the defendant's bond until trial. Thank you.
Okay, so let me ask.
Yeah, I knew it was Brick. I know the song is Brick. But they're talking about holes in the wall. I just made a little parody. That's all I did. I knew it was Brick.
The clarifying question, Ms. Hagler. So you said that, so this is how I know magistrate to work, but it's been, I think I haven't been on magistrate court in 9 years, almost 10 years. Things may have changed. But generally, when a warrant is issued, if the person is arrested pursuant to that warrant, and a CW would mean that somebody, an officer came into the office, asked the magistrate to hear sworn testimony.
All right, you can revoke my bond. Lone Wolf is a big music geek. He's a huge music geek, and there's nothing wrong with that. When I first started talking to him, privately, he started asking me all these bands that are from Ohio that I've never heard of. Not gonna lie. Lone Wolf, I pretended like I knew what you were talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, they're okay. Yeah, they're good. Yeah. No. But no, again, I know who Pink Floyd is. I knew it was another brick in the wall. I know that. I did. Promise you I did. I'm not that young.
The magistrate then types up the warrant, and at that point, the officer can proceed on that warrant. It is not one where the officer was present at the time the offense happened, which would have been a CAA, which would have been a warrantless, a WAA, or warrantless arrest affidavit. It would have been after some investigation or after going to the scene, the officer collects information and then they go to a magistrate, ask that magistrate to produce a warrant, and then that warrant is then entered into the system and the person is wanted. My understanding from what you're telling me is that he was not initially arrested on the 2020 CW warrant. That warrant was still showing wanted when he was then subsequently arrested on the next case. And for both those cases, the bond condition was set to require that he have no contact with Ms. Benz. Is that correct?
Yes, no contact, and then not to violate any laws.
So when Mr. Lynch is testifying that for the 2020 CW, which would have been first in time, he did not have a bond condition until he was arrested on that and the subsequent event. So two events were committed. He wasn't arrested on the first one. When they arrested him on the second one, they processed both the CW and either another CW or a WAA. So one of them was in 2020, the other one was in, I think you said 2021 or 2020.
Both were in 2020. One occurred May 7th. The criminal trespass occurred May 7th of 2020. And then the battery family violence occurred November 29th of 2020.
But he wasn't arrested on any of them until 2022.
That based on this bond order, that's when it was signed.
Okay, so that's what that would have meant, that he was wanted for both of those things for almost 2 years. And when he was finally arrested on those two offenses, the court then had a first appearance hearing where he was given notice that he was not to have contact with a particular person, Ms. Benz, or go to a particular location possibly.
That's what appears from this warrant. From this order for bond. Sorry.
Okay, so, and this is where Ms. Benz is about to lose it, but Ms. Benz, let me explain to you what happened. So he had warrants that were out there, but he wasn't arrested. He wasn't arrested until later, and when he was arrested, then at that time, he was given notice of the bond conditions. I can't hold him responsible for bond conditions that weren't even in place at the time, or he didn't have knowledge of at the time. And so even though both of those events took place one after the other, had he been arrested on the first event and given a first appearance and been told that he had bond conditions, then I would be able to hold him accountable because he is knowledgeable that these bond conditions exist and you're not to have any other offenses and you're not to have contact with this particular person. Number one.
That case y'all won't allow us to talk about in the courtroom. They told him.
Ms. Benz, it doesn't matter whether you're allowed to talk about it or not. What I'm saying is the state of the bond conditions is until a bond condition is served upon the person and they're given notice that this is what you cannot do until that hearing is held, then they're not responsible for that. So he had two outstanding warrants. The first warrant, he was never arrested on until the second warrant happened. When he came to Chuck E. Cheese, then they were able to arrest him on that second warrant, the Chuck E. Cheese incident, and the first warrant, which was outstanding. And at that time, he was given bond conditions. Now, if he committed a crime after that, after the date that he was given the bond conditions, which was May 13th of 2022, if there is a crime that occurred after May 13th of 2022 that he was arrested for, then I could hold him on a bond revocation. But because he was not given bond conditions until the date in question, and that predated, those two offenses predated his bond conditions, I cannot hold him responsible for having violated the bond conditions. That's number one. And number two, even though there were no bond conditions in place at the time that you all agreed to meet at the Chuck E. Cheese, you admit that you agreed to have contact with him. What set it off was Mr.
I didn't admit
Boston,
to anything.
Miss Benz, let me finish. What you admitted that you agreed to have contact with Mr. Boston. What set it off was under your testimony is that he arrived with his girlfriend and her children who were not expected to be there. And Miss Benz,
courtroom,
which he arrived with his girlfriend and her children, and they were not expected to be there. So at that point, that's what set off the encounter. But at that point, Mr. Benz was not under a bond condition from this court that this court can rely upon to hold him responsible. So with that being said and all laid out, Mr. Ben, I cannot revoke a bond condition, a bond for revocation where the condition was not in place at the time that the offense happened. So that's where that stands.
Exactly. Which is why the prosecutor was trying to withdraw her motion when this started, but the victim was yelling and screaming, went into a breakout room with the prosecutor, and the prosecutor was like, all right, fine, we'll have the hearing. We'll go ahead and have the hearing. It's just not going to happen. That's what I'm guessing what went down. So this is a giant waste of time. This was an hour. No, this whole thing was about an hour and 10 minutes. Way too long for something that the prosecutor said at the very start. We're withdrawing our motion to revoke bond. Come on.
Thank goodness for my knowledge as a magistrate court judge, because you got to walk this down slowly. Now, other things I want to say about this case. Ms. Benz, you are hot mad about what's going on in this situation, but you seem to be really
Because you allow my abuser to
Benz,
beat my
you
son.
seem to be really focused on the girlfriend. And I understand that she's an
I don't
irritation
give two
and an
rats much
issue.
about the girlfriend. I'm focused on the safety of my son. They leave him home by himself. He's called me on his.
But I want to clarify certain things. One, I've never had any contact with DFACS about this case or about the minor child.
Last time in the court,
I don't know anything about the minor child in this case or his situation or his whereabouts. Three, if it is an issue where the minor child is endangered, then that is an issue for the police to handle under whatever offense is appropriate at the time. I have not directed Ms. Benz to do anything but to speak with the victim witness advocate in the Solicitor General's office and to seek possibly a temporary protective order. I have not directed the magistrate court to do anything. I've not directed any other body to do anything in this case because I don't have that ability. So I am not in charge of this, the safety, welfare, or have any knowledge about where this child is. I don't have any knowledge about what the legal status of the child is, whether Mr. Boston has any right to have the child or whether he has been granted a temporary guardianship or conservative, anything. I don't have any of that because that is not before me.
Okay.
If there's something going on with this child, then the child, that needs to be handled through the police or superior court, the superior court of the county where the child has resided. So if it's not handled by superior court, if it's not handled by the police, it is not something that is currently before me. I can't make Mr. Boston return a child because I don't have that power. And so just to be clear, Ms. Benz, I don't have the power to do what you're asking me to do. A superior court judge might, or the police might be able to arrest, but none of what has been said here and none of the cases in front of me involve a minor child. And so I'm putting that on the record. You can sue all you want to, you can rant, rave all you want to, but none of that involves this court. State court does not have jurisdiction over those matters. None of what has been alleged has anything to do with a minor child being involved. And therefore, I'm clarifying for the record that the allegations you made against this court can't be supported. And so if you want to pursue the custody of the child, then like I said, you need to go through superior court or you need to go through the police and have them file a warrant for whatever they deem is appropriate, but it cannot come through me because I don't have that power. So everything that all the power that you've given me, I don't have. Okay, so with that being said, at this time, the motion to revoke is denied. The court has put on the record all of the information that it has regarding this case and the situation that exists. And at this time, Mr. Benz, I will remind you that you are currently under a bond condition that says that you're not to have any contact with Ms. Benz, that you're not to go around her, that you're not to have a.
Ooh, judge just messed up. She called him Mr. Benz, not his name. They're not married. Oh, just wait. Let's see if she can react to that. She probably will. The court muted her. You could see her. She was trying to unmute herself a second ago. The court muted her. I feel like she's about to go off, but she's on mute the rest of the hearing. So I remember her getting real animated at the very end of this, and you couldn't hear what she was saying. Let's see.
Third party contact her. And let me be clear. I hate cases where people bring in the girlfriend. The girlfriend did not have a child with Miss Benz. And so she has no right to have any connection with Miss Benz. She didn't lay down with Miss Benz. She can't get up with Miss Benz. And so when you bring the girlfriend in as a surrogate to participate in an argument with Miss Benz or to talk to Miss Benz in any way about Miss Benz's child, that's inappropriate. You're the person who had a child with her. You need to have those conversations. Don't bring your other party around, especially when you know it's gonna be a problem. That's irresponsible. So let's start thinking about mature co-parenting as opposed to all of this high school stuff where I'm gonna bring my girlfriend and she gonna fight you and all that foolishness. It really is ignorant. So, Ms. Benz, I've clarified my position in this. I've made my statement. I have reminded Mr. Boston that should you violate the conditions, you could be arrested until this case is resolved. You could also be charged with additional misdemeanors or felonies punishable by up to 10 years in prison, a $10,000 fine, or both per offense. And so at this time, the motion is denied, but the Solicitor General's office, per any information that they receive, could bring that motion to revoke back. And let me be very clear. It could be based on a third party contacting Ms. Benz, namely a girlfriend or some other family member or person acting on your behalf. So please tell them that they don't help you in any way by doing that. Okay, even if they're using an anonymous number, technology is such that things can be traced. Don't make them find it. All right. So that concludes this case. All righty.
Serve him without an address for you to even for me to even do the things you're telling me to do.
Ms. Benz, I can't ask him for his address. I can't compel him to give me that.
Forward to get my son to even do the legal things that you're telling me to do. How am I supposed to do this? What I'm saying?
Ms. Benz, let me just tell you something. Ms. Benz, if you will listen to me, let me tell you something. My mom she practices law in South Carolina, and this was a point she made to someone once. You have a child with somebody, you choose that person. If you got a child with somebody and you don't know their address, how do you think I'm going to figure it out? I don't know him. I don't know where he's lived. I don't know his people. I don't know who he is. You have way more information than I do. I can't compel him to give me his information, and I didn't have a child with him. So that's what I say. When we're having kids with folk that we barely know. Folk are just having kids with people that they barely know. They're having kids with people that they wouldn't even marry, but they're having kids with them. And then you expect the courts to enforce a relationship that you don't even have.
Judge,
So I'm not going to take that abuse because she failed to have a child with the right person or to get the right information. I'm not doing that. Y'all need to be more careful about who you procreate with. I'm serious about that. Children being brought into this world in the midst of foolishness. And the foolishness just continues. And the only people who suffer are the kids. So Ms. Benz can have whatever tantrum she wishes to have, but I have made my ruling and I have put it on the record. All right. So next, 1 o'clock calendar.
Ooh. Judge Hayward is very strong about that. Just about everyone that comes in front of her with any kind of dispute over custody or anything that has to do with kids, she preaches that in almost every case where any kind of custody or anything with children comes up. So she is passionate about it. And she says it all the time. Probably 5 or 6 times a day, she's giving that speech to somebody. Oh, man. Yep, she rage quit. I still can't believe that the incident that they were having the hearing over was 2 years before the actual before the charges were filed. Man. So much you learn when watching things multiple times. All right. I've got another case. Because we gotta have a palate cleanser after that. We gotta stop the yelling. And now that we've already been going for an hour and a half, I actually have 2 more cases. I got 2 more cases. Probably should have just kept it at 1. The last one, because the last one we're going to end is kind of funny for the wrong reasons. But the next one's Judge Garcia, and it's an interesting case. If you guys are bored about 5 minutes into it, because it's about a 10-minute case, if we get a couple minutes into it and you guys want me to skip it, I'll go to the last case. The last case is funny for all the wrong reasons, and I'll explain when we get to it. But before we get there, we're going to Judge Garcia. Let's go. Oh, nope. I had a PayPal. I almost forgot this for like the third time. Sparkle Poots. Sparkle Poots, I hope you're still here. I hope you're still here, Sparkle Poots. Thank you so much for the PayPal. And yes, I remember you said something about Heather. I think it was something about buying a drink for Heather. Bless your heart, catch it from both sides, LOL. But this goes to Heather's cocktail. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sparkle Poots. Hopefully you're still here. You said that like 30 minutes ago. That was a long case. Told you it was long. All right, Judge Garcia. We're going from Georgia to Texas. Let's go.
All right, Frank and Western Union. Oh, I think Western Union is on Zoom.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Did you ask about what?
So this guy is suing Western Union. He filed a lawsuit against Western Union. The facts that this is an interesting case. I thought this was a good buffer to get that yelling out of our heads, and then we're going to go into more yelling right after this. We're going to go into more yelling, but right now we're just going to hear an interesting case. Sparkle Boots, take a damn pause. I need schnapps. All right, everyone, take a breath. Sparkle Poots needs some schnapps, so we're all going to take a breath. Neil Morrison's in the house. Good to see you, bud. Good to see you. Just woke up here in Scotland. Really good to see you, my man. Good to see you. And good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the stream. And thank you so much for the 6 months. That is awesome. I've known Neil Morrison for a long ass time. Far longer than I've had a channel. So it's always good to see you, my friend. Wixom. Colin, I forgot the wine. Hold on, it's skipping ahead. I forgot the wine. Probably no one knows what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Thank you so much, my friend. Wixom, you were awesome. So now we have flowers, we have a reservation, and now we have wine. You just set up date night. But I already ordered the flowers. I'm picking her up at the airport with the flowers. And then we're actually going out on Tuesday. So, yeah, don't tell her. No one tell her. If she pops in here drunk here in about 20 minutes when her concert's over, no one tell her. So everyone hush. Because she might. Because we might be live when she gets out of the concert, because this stream's going to go forever, apparently. Okay, let's go. Judge Garcia, let's go.
Western Union?
Yes, ma'am. I'm calling y'all up.
Yes, I'm Jenna on behalf of Western Union.
Yeah. Okay, and Miss Jenna, are you counsel?
No, I'm not.
You are awesome, Sparkle Poots. Thank you. We are proceeding as you wish.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I refer to you properly.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 minute, Miss Jenna. I'm going to go ahead and let Mr. Frank give me a brief overview, and then I'll go ahead and let you respond, okay?
Very good.
She went to an Australian cover band of Pink Floyd. And someone said it earlier. It's actually a tribute band because they do their entire set. So it's not actually a cover band because all they do is Pink Floyd. So it's a tribute band. So that actually is more appropriate. And she's not going to rewatch this by the time she's on the plane. And by the time she gets here, she absolutely will not. She's going to get home. She might jump in and say hi, and then she's going to pass out because her plane's at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So there's no way she's gonna go through this and listen to what I said. And if she does, you know what? I'm just going to stick with no. She's not going to. Okay, let's go.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Mr. Frank. Give me a brief overview of why you're here and what you're asking for. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I purchased 2 money orders, I guess at Walmart, because it was pretty far away. And I got the money order. What do you write the money order on?
Mm-hmm.
They were gonna go to pay my taxes in Las Vegas.
Right.
I got the envelope where you mailed them to, and I got the form I can show you.
You okay?
2 money orders. I got
Mr. Frank, are you okay?
Huh?
Are you okay?
Yeah,
You sure?
yeah.
Okay, because you just looked like you were in pain. Are you okay?
Oh, no, I was thinking.
Okay, just making sure you're not gonna
process.
pass out or we gotta call somebody for you. Okay,
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
fine. My health is great.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so,
All right, we are never going to get through this. I don't want to forget to shout out people. Erica, always tell her how beautiful and wonderful she is. I do. every single day. I do. The very first thing I said to her every single morning is "Good morning, beautiful." I am constantly telling her how wonderful and beautiful she is. So there's no shortfall of that. But Erica, thank you so much. Also, Jedi, thank you so much for the generous Venmo. Jedi, you are awesome. Yeah, both. Everybody's awesome. Jedi, thank you so much. That was more than generous. Thank you. Okay, we got to get through this. We got to get through this. It's called Australian Pink Floyd. I wonder if that's actually what it's called. I feel like there was a name. When she tells me about it, I feel like there's actually a name of the band. I don't know if it's just called Australian Pink Floyd, but it might be, because I remember Australian and I remember cover band, but I didn't remember Pink Floyd. Nani Susu, good to see you. Good to see you. Don't forget Ruth Candles. All right, got him. Yeah, hopefully they're not the candles from the lady from last night. Is that I don't know what Ruth Candles are. I really don't, but yeah, we'll get candles too. Thanks to Nani Susu. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Very generous of you. Okay. All right, we gotta get through this. You guys are extremely generous. All right. I gotta calm down, take a breath. Let's get through this. I'm like breathing really quickly because I'm so excited. All right, let's go.
Broke my thought. Well, anyway, so I was at the who they're going to, the Nevada taxes.
Okay.
So they were for the Nevada tax.
Okay, yes,
There
sir.
was 2 money orders, and then so then I go through the process of calling them up, and then they said send in your checks that you got, and then send in your checks you got, and then so I did that, and then they came back and said this is fraud. So I says, so they send me a form to fill out. And then, so I filled that out. I got the hard copy of one of them. So then they looked at it and they said, we sent you the wrong form. So I said, send another form, send the right form. And so they sent the other one. That form, I looked, but I got my notary. I didn't see that form that they sent, the other one. That came out of Colorado. So I went to my notary, Colorado. They filled that form out. I didn't see it anyway, maybe they still got it, but I don't know if they got it. But I do got my email from the notary. The notary can't give you the form that she filled. All she can say is that, yes, I did do it, because the bank doesn't allow the notary to give you the hard copy.
But what's the issue? I maybe I missed it
They're
completely.
not giving me back my refund.
Okay.
No, Western Union.
Okay, so how much was each money order for?
How much is each money order for?
Rich, you nailed it. Western Union is probably one of the largest, at least transactional companies on the planet. They probably have lawyers upon lawyers. This guy's mad because he sent someone money and someone else took it. I believe that's what his claim is. So there's a fraud that happened, and Western Union hasn't refunded the money. Like, he paid money on one end, and someone else was supposed to pick it up, but a third party intercepted it somehow, and he wants the money back, and he hasn't gotten back. I feel like that's the issue here. I don't really remember, but that's what he's mad about. So he's like, "Where's the money? Where's the money? I gave you the money. The person on the other end didn't get it. I want my money back." And I don't know. I don't remember if they're still investigating or what. We're gonna find out when the lawyer talks.
Plus, I had to file court cases.
Okay, forget that. I just want to know the money orders. You'll get your court costs if you win.
One's for, I gotta give you the right money, 226 and 220. These 2 money orders.
226 and 223.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you made these money orders out to
Okay.
some taxes in Vegas.
Yes.
Okay, and then you put it in the mail.
Okay. All right. Australian Pink Floyd is what it's called. Well, they're in Halifax tonight, which is which is I just doxed my girlfriend. Yeah, that's where she is. She's there tonight, and it's probably almost over right now. So, like I said, we still have like 25 minutes of video to go through, and I keep pausing it, so we may never get through this. So she may be jumping in here, all goofy, because I'm not going to call her drunk. I don't know if she's drinking, but she probably is. So we might get a goofy Heather here shortly. All right, let's try to finish this. But thank you for letting me know. It's actually called Australian Pink Floyd. Yeah, I should have known that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then when they got to Vegas tried to cash them, and they said they were fraud.
No, when I got to Vegas, Vegas sent me a letter. Your taxes are overdue.
Okay.
So I says, no, I sent you advanced tax money.
Okay.
Because that's it.
So these got lost in the mail, so to speak.
Right. So then I said, so I went over to Vegas and I says, these are I paid you. And they said, no, you didn't. So then you go to Western.
Okay, now I get it. Okay.
Where are those money?
So you mailed them out, they got lost in the mail, they never went to Vegas, you called Western Union and say, hey, can I get a refund? My checks, my money orders got lost in the mail, and then now we're here. Because they refused to give you a refund.
Yes.
Okay. All right, just making sure I got the story. All right, give me 1 minute, Mr. Frank. I'm gonna speak to Western Union and see what they have to say, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Miss Jana.
Yes, Your Honor. So Mr. Trujillo, in November of 2023, he submitted a refund request for the 2 money orders. When a refund request is submitted, if the money order has been cashed, photocopies of the money orders are sent to the customer. This is what happened in this case. They had already been cashed. So somebody got them out of the mail and they forged them and put in a different name. When that happens, Western Union will file a forgery claim with the Bank of First Deposit on behalf of a customer as a courtesy to the customer. It is always up to the Bank of First Deposit whether or not they will refund the funds as to whether or not the money orders appear to be forged. So in this particular case, Mr. Trujillo submitted a forgery claim in February of 2024. However, he attached the incorrect affidavits. If a money order is forged, then you are to submit a purchaser's affidavit. Mr. Trujillo submitted a intended payee's affidavit. And he was sent back in February, a letter stating that we needed the purchaser's affidavit. I also had sent him 3 or 4 emails and a letter along with the purchaser's affidavit saying, please submit this document and I will expedite the forgery claim for you. I will get that, the forgery department to submit this to the Bank of First Deposit. Mr. Trujillo would not submit the purchaser's affidavits because he stated that he already submitted affidavits. Unfortunately, he submitted the incorrect affidavits and he would not submit the proper ones.
Okay,
And
so
now
as
the
of
time
this
is-
date right now, he still has not filled out the purchaser's affidavit.
Correct, and now it is beyond the time frame that we are able to submit a forgery claim because a year has passed since the money orders have been cashed.
Okay, and Miss Jana, do you happen to have a copy of who cashed the money order?
Yes, as does Mr. Trujillo, an individual by the name of William Cooper, it appears to be. So unfortunately, it would be Mr. Trujillo's claim would be against the Bank of First Deposit.
Yeah, you can say that, I can't. You said the words right out of my mouth. Okay, all right. Give me 1 minute, Miss Jana. Okay. All right, Mr. Frank. So, as far as money orders are concerned, they get a little tricky, and we don't always know the process on a money order. I just learned something new, so it's pretty cool to know Western Union does all of this stuff on our behalf. So it is a process that needs to be done, and everything needs to be marked as it goes, okay? Because remember, Miss Jenna has a boss to answer to, and Western Union has auditors, that they have to make sure that everything, every money order that's purchased matches the amount that's been cashed in a pretty much a big online banking system, okay? And they have an accountant to make sure everything is balanced and checked out, okay? They can't just give refunds out like paper towels, you know, they can't just hand them out. They got to have record of why they handed this out with an affidavit so they can match it when their accountant says, well, why is this here and this isn't here? Okay. So what she was trying to do was send you some affidavits. Okay?
I did, and I did.
I
I
understand,
have the email.
but
because
the
they sent this
affidavit,
thing-
hold on, the affidavit that you filled out was incorrect. It was not the correct affidavit.
Right. Sorry. Then I asked them, I talked to them, I says, send me the right affidavit. They sent it, so I filled that
Let me
out.
see which one you filled out, because as of right now, you
This
still
is
have
the
not
first
filled out the right one.
This is the first affidavit.
Okay, send me the second affidavit. What was the
Okay,
second one?
that's an email.
Okay, let me
because-
see the email.
It's not gonna, it's notary at the Chase Bank in Aurora, Colorado, filled that out. But she can't get the hard copies of the second affidavit, the one they wanted. Because I would call them up and I said, please send me the right affidavit.
And
And
she
it's
says
the
that she has
same-
sent it to you via email 4 times.
I know, because I kept filling out the same affidavit.
Okay,
The
but it was
same
the wrong affidavit that you were filling out.
The wrong affidavit, the right, because of, remember, that's the first.
Okay. For anyone who's, reading the chat and just mildly paying attention. So Western Union is trying to help him, but I don't know, he might be too hard-headed. He's filled out the wrong affidavit, and the guy just admitted, I filled out the same affidavit 4 times. It's the wrong one. They even filed a claim of fraud for you, and you're just not doing what you're supposed to do. Western Union isn't trying to scam you out of the money that you're saying was stolen. We don't even know that much. He's just trying to get his money back from Western Union. I don't even know if they say how much it was, but he just needs to do what they're telling him to do. They're trying to help him. I don't know why he decided to take them to court when he's just not reading what they're sending him. So, yeah. Just saying, when some people are trying to help you, don't slap their hand.
First affidavit. Then I filled out the second affidavit, and that's the one I have on my phone, because you're gonna have, the notary cannot give you a hard copy. All she can say is, yes, I did fill it out, because the bank stops him from doing it.
Okay, well, let me see that on your phone.
All righty, I'll bring it up.
Because as of right now, they have not received the right affidavit. And they're not gonna refund you. They're not.
I
It's
know.
already been past the year. The time is expired. And Miss Janet, do you have screen share? Do you know how to screen share?
Ask them if they have a second, I'm sorry. They should have 2 affidavits.
Okay, can you show me the emails where you have sent him with the new affidavit?
Yes.
Because
I
he's
sure can.
stating that yes, the first time y'all sent him the wrong affidavit. Then apparently the second time y'all sent him the good one, he went to Colorado, he had somebody notarize it and send it back to you. However, he doesn't have a copy of that.
I don't know if she shares her screen or not, but I didn't edit this out, so we might have to skip ahead of this.
We never received a purchaser's affidavit from Mr. Trujillo. And I'm having a hard time understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, did he say that the notary would not give him the hard copy of the?
That's right.
That doesn't make I don't understand that. The notary would hand it right back to him. He would sign it in front of a notary, and she would hand it right back to him, and he would submit it to Western Union. And if he's stating that we sent him the incorrect affidavit when we send the information to a customer so that they can complete it to a forgery claim, we include both affidavits in the event that the money order has not been forged and that the payee just didn't receive it. There are two different affidavits, but the purchaser's affidavit specifically states that if your money order has been forged, this is the money order, this is the affidavit that you should complete.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. Hold on. Okay, so this email that you're sending me right now, this is the second affidavit that you sent. Okay, this is where lies the problem. Because I already figured out the problem. So I opened it up, right? This is the affidavit for the email.
That's not see, they don't have that second affidavit.
This is the second affidavit, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
from Chase Bank.
Okay.
But that's not the second affidavit. See, look at where it came from. That's the one from Nevada. That's the original.
Okay. Mr. Frank, I
There's
need to
two
see
affidavits.
the second affidavit because without that second affidavit,
Chase won't release it.
then I can't help you. I can't help you.
Chase won't release it.
Because they're stating that you did not fill out the right affidavit.
But I did.
Okay, but I need to see proof of that.
Okay.
And there's no way that a notary would have kept that paperwork. There's no way. Or something wasn't explained right. Because when you go to a notary, they ask you for your license, they have you sign it, they make a copy for their books because they need a record of everything they notarize, but they give you back the original. Okay, and if they didn't give you back the original,
They did. And I mailed it to them and they don't have it. See, they
you didn't make a copy of that.
I know they.
Okay, we're not gonna go there.
I know,
We're not
we won't go
doing that. We're not gonna start name calling.
Because there's two. They really gave me a bad time. They would put me on hold for like 45 minutes. And I would just stay there with them. Then I told them, this girl here.
I used Western Union one time in my life, and I was terrified because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was sending money to someone. Long story, but it was more than a little bit of money. It wasn't a scam. It was someone I knew. May have been dating her at the time. And I was helping her with rent. And I was terrified about doing it. I checked the process. I figured it out. I knew exactly when and how it was going to be sent and delivered. So this didn't happen. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me how this. I don't know. I guess I should stop talking. I need to stop talking. I'm getting tired. When I'm starting to talk about past relationships, I need to stop talking.
This girl named Anna, I told her, send me the first time. So this is the first affidavit.
Yes,
This
I
came
didn't
out of
mention
Las
that. They
Vegas.
came out wrong. They sent you the good one 4 times already. 4 times they sent you the new one via email. 4 times. So you got it 4 times.
It's
Okay.
right.
The new one, they sent you the good one, the purchaser's affidavit. Okay, you filled out the payee, not the purchaser. That's the one they need.
Right. I know, but I did fill that affidavit.
But
out.
I need proof.
I know, there it is. The affidavit, what's that, notary? Did you see, I apologize, but I can't do that. Did you read that part?
I read a little bit of it, yes.
All of it, because then she explains why they.
Let me read it again, because
Oh.
on there, she does not say that it was a purchaser's affidavit. She just said she can't give you a copy. I don't know what you gave her.
Okay, tell her, read this, I apologize. And she's gonna tell you why she can't do it. And why they can't do it, because the bank prohibits them. And that's the second affidavit, and she doesn't have it. Why? Because, you don't wanna go there. Because they tore it up. And
I already told you not to say that again.
and then they kept,
Stop.
Come on, Judge Garcia, drop your tagline.
And
That's
what-
enough. All we got was a stop. I wonder if that's enough. I feel like we're gonna get one.
So again, she states the same thing, that she cannot provide any documentation confirming that I completed your notary for April 24th. The best I can do is this email stating I did it. Due to confidential client information, I cannot attach any photos of my notary journal. So I have no idea what you notarized.
Exactly. And they have it because I mailed it. See, and they don't want to produce it.
So,
you know.
just any word of advice, Mr. Frank, if you ever mail any affidavits, you might want to make copies of them.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
All right, so as of right now, hearing all the evidence, it's gonna be a take nothing judgment. Thank you, guys.
I didn't hear you.
It's gonna be a take nothing judgment. I have no choice but to dismiss the case.
Oh, I lose.
Yes, Mr. Frank, I'm sorry.
I got ripped off back then
I
by the person.
well, it's actually not them. It was William or whoever signed the notary. I mean, the money order. Unfortunately, it does happen all the time, but Mr. Frank, you've got to make sure you make copies of what you send, because I have no proof that you ever sent that. And that's all they needed, was that affidavit. Once they received that affidavit, they could start working on your case and refunding you and trying to talk to the bank and trying to let them know that it was a fraud. But they can't do that without that paperwork. Now, I'm not saying you didn't fill it out. Again, the mail, I don't know what's going on with the mail and you, but it doesn't seem to be getting to where it needs to be getting to. And the fact that she sent it via email, you could have always sent it again to her via email. I know it's a little hard, and sometimes it's a pain in the butt to attach things and then
the same thing, I'm sorry, Your Honor. And the same thing, what if they never get it? Like they didn't get that one.
Well,
and it's the same thing, Your Honor. We never got it. It's the same thing.
Okay, an email is a little bit different, Mr. Frank, because on an email, you can do a read receipt, you can do attachments, you can see if they've
or
opened
make
it
a
up.
copy, right?
Or make a copy.
Okay, see, so then you say what you said, beginning, going back. Well, then you should have made a copy, fill it out, and then make another copy. But it's gonna be the same thing. They're not gonna get it in the mail. They got that. They got it. I know they got it.
The difference is, if you would have presented me a copy, the case would have went a different way.
They can pull the same thing. We never got it. Again, they'll pull the same thing.
Okay. All right.
This company is a ripoff.
Okay. All right. Well, you are entitled to your opinion, Mr. Frank.
No.
All right. Well,
That's what they did.
you try to have a good day, okay?
Ripoff.
All right, Miss Jana. Case is gonna be dismissed. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice day.
Yes, you too. Mr. Adam.
All right. We actually might see the end of this. I wanted to make one comment to Aaron Reese. He's engaged. What did he say? He's engaging in defamation by saying they ripped him off. Potentially, I will say this though: lawyers and judges, when they're testifying anything on the record, they're immune to defamation, because otherwise, I'm trying to remember how this was worded to me, so I might get this wrong a little bit. So you're immune to defamation because you're actively pleading your case. So when you're under oath on the record, you can't prove defamation. Now you could prove perjury. If someone's lying, you can prove that, but you can't file a defamation claim against somebody who's testifying in court, because that's how you have to testify in court. You're actively saying this other person wronged me. Now, I don't know. This is civil court, and Judge Garcia says that this isn't on the record. There might be different rules that apply to that, but I'm trying to remember how Judge Slavin explained this to me, and I'm not going to be able to word it perfectly. He's a judge and I'm not. But there was something about being, when you're testifying, you're not immune from it, but it's really hard to get something to stick when you're testifying, because you're saying someone else did something wrong. They wronged you. So you have to say that they did these things. So defamation is really hard to stick on that point. Okay, I'm moving on. Neil Morrison, Orange Top. I know, I thought that too. I thought that too. Thank you so much for the £5. That's like, that's like 1,300 American dollars at this point. Neil Morrison, thank you so much. All right, there we go. Okay, so that makes more sense. Yeah, it would still be a case that Western Union would need to file against the guy. He didn't do any harm to them though, so they would have to prove that he lied in court, and it's his opinion that they ripped him off. But yeah, no, that makes more sense. They would have to prove perjury, and that's also kind of hard to do. But yeah, all right, last case. Now, before we go into this last case, I want to say one thing. This is funny for the wrong reasons. There's an MH issue here. You're gonna see it. Well, you're not gonna see it. You're gonna hear it. I took out his video. There was video of, because this defendant is with his mom, and the reason why I have this in here is because it's kind of a not refreshing. That's a terrible word to say to this case. It's a way to end the night that we're not shaking our head at the yelling people in the last case against Western Union. But it's an interesting case. I took out his video because I didn't want people making fun of him and his mom, and it would have been pretty easy to do. Let's just say that. So you're not going to see him on video, but you're going to hear him. Also, their audio is terrible. There's a little bit of feedback. I'm warning you now. It sounds like they have a smoke detector that's going low on battery that's right next to the phone. So you're going to hear this beep every 30 seconds, I think. Just warning you. But if you stick around and you listen to it, you might giggle a little bit. There we go. There's my trigger warning, whatever you want to call it, before I play this. Okay, let's go.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you. We can hear you now. So, Mr. Hamilton, you are appearing for arraignment purposes this morning. We are on the record in case number 24-2725SD. You're hearing with Ms. Mistily, the defense attorney, available through the Indigent Defense Counsel, who will be assisting.
Okay, it's a bird. And it's not every 30 seconds. I don't remember it being this much. But yeah, it's a bird. You guys all hear it. It's a bird. It's a bird. All right. So there's a bird in the background. It's not a smoke detector. There's a bird that doesn't stop birding, chirping the entire time. It does actually. I feel like it ggets quieter when they start talking, though.
You in the arraignment. And Ms. Mistily, did you have opportunity to review allegations on the complaint, nature of the offense, and the possible maximum penalties with Mr. Hamilton?
I did, and we will waive a formal reading of the misdemeanor complaint under a plea of not guilty and request counsel. Mr. Hamilton is unemployed. His only income is SSDI.
I'm not unemployed. I'm an iron worker.
Stop it. I told you, do not interrupt her.
I'm not unemployed.
You are. Stop it.
I'm a lifetime iron worker.
You're a member of a union. You're not employed. There's a difference.
Okay.
Sorry. You
No worries. Thank you.
I worked 25 years
Joshua,
of my life.
What you did tell you.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, Mr. Hamilton, may I verify some contact information with you, please? Mr. Hamilton, what's your phone number?
231.
And what is your mailing address?
255.
Thank you.
I know she's I know. I'll be nice.
Mr. Hamilton, do you own any vehicles?
No. Oh, yeah, I do a GMC. A truck,
Okay.
a GMC truck.
What's the estimated value of that vehicle?
$2,000.
Okay. And do you have any money in a checking account or savings account? Any cash on hand?
No.
I have a savings account, but there ain't no money. I'm broke. I'm a broke bum.
Hey, be polite.
Okay.
Yes and no answers, okay?
I'm disabled.
Joshua.
Okay. So, Mr. Hamilton, I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You should hear from that court-appointed attorney by the end of next week. That person may phone you, might call you, might mail you a letter, so please be watching for contact from your attorney. The next step in the process is a pre-trial conference. And in this case, the pre-trial conference, which is an in-person appearance, will be on October 1st at 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
The court will mail you a notice with that date and time, and you'll have an opportunity to speak with your attorney prior to that date. But October 1st at 9:30 a.m., you'll need to be here in court, okay?
I would like to know how they could take my license for me taking my own medicine that my doctor prescribed me.
Joshua, stop it. Joshua, this is not the time or place. She's trying to help you with this.
Okay.
Stop going off.
How can they take my license over medicine I've been taking?
Joshua?
Okay, so Mr. Hamilton, I show that you were released
I have a
when they
doctor.
arrested you without posting bond.
To the wrong person.
I'm going to place you on a $5,000 personal recognizance bond. It's a PR bond. You don't need to post any money. You don't need to post any money, but it's your promise that you would be at every court appearance and that you will abide by the conditions of the bond.
Oh, I'm gonna be there.
Okay, but you have to follow these conditions as well. The conditions of the bond are.
Any more information than what you're asked.
You guys wrecked my Harley.
Okay, the conditions of the bond are that you may not operate any motor vehicle of any kind for any reason.
Yes, he's been doing that.
I'm a law abider, unlike many of you.
Joshua.
Okay, it's an order of the court, Mr. Hamilton, that you cannot operate any motor vehicle of any kind for any reason. So please understand how important that is, that you follow that court order.
Making me swear.
So,
Yes,
even if I win, I lose my license for a whole year.
She's saying while this is in court, you cannot drive until they make a decision. Okay.
Even when I win, I can't drive.
No, she didn't. Listen to what she said, Josh. Now you're really starting to irritate me because
Okay.
you're going off.
Okay, so folks, let's just get through this arraignment. Joshua, we need to show respect to the magistrate, and please just listen to the bond conditions, and you're going to discuss.
Want to hear what they did to me?
No,
Hold
I
on.
don't.
You're going to talk to your assigned attorney about all of those issues, but now is not the time to do that.
Oh, okay.
Barry, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I don't know if this makes me ignorant. I did not know that was a bird. But yeah, and I also said the bird is going to keep birding throughout the entire. Yeah, it's time for me to call it a night, guys. There's about a minute left of this. They're going to go. Mom and son are going to go back and forth with each other. Now you know why I decided to take their video off of this. It doesn't need to be on. But this is I thought this was a enlightening way to end the evening after the first case, at least. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great week. As I've said multiple times, I will be very sparse over the next week. Heather she arrives tomorrow. So we are planning on going live at least once, hopefully twice. I'm hoping for twice. She doesn't love doing it. So she agreed to do it once. Hopefully we do it twice, but she leaves next Sunday. I don't remember if it's next Saturday or Sunday. Probably should know that. But she's here for a week, so yeah, it's probably next Saturday. And so next Sunday night, next Monday, I will be back to my regular scheduled programming. But until then, I've got a lot of videos ready to release, so there will still be videos being released, just no lives, except for one, maybe two. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you guys so much. The super chats, the membership milestones, the PayPals, the Venmos, you guys are awesome. I'm gonna have a great week with Heather, and you guys have been awesome. Let's just say that you guys have been awesome. Biggin, thank you so much for the raid tonight. I appreciate it, bud. I know you're not still here. You are probably passed out. He gets off his stream, eats dinner, and probably goes right to bed. Santa Claus needs his rest. But yeah, you guys are awesome. You really are. So I will see you guys around. If you guys need me, you can always Discord me or email me. I'll be around. I'm just not going to be on the YouTubes very much. I've got all my videos already recorded. So also, if I say something dumb in a recording of a video, like say, hey, happy Tuesday, and it's Thursday, yeah, that's because I recorded them all at the same time. And I try to make a schedule for when I release them. It doesn't usually happen, but I try. All right. Have a very great week, everybody. Don't do anything dumb. I will cover you. I will, especially you know and know. I will cover you. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. So let's finish this one up. You guys go do you. Go do you. And I will see you whenever Heather and I decide to go live. And yeah, until next time. Bye.
Okay, so just hold on for about a week or so and you'll be talking to your attorney.
Good.
Okay.
Why did it take,
Thank you.
Why did it take 7 months to get my court date?
Right. Didn't take 7 months. And stop, Rick. She just told you, do not go out of what they're saying.
It happened in the first month.
No, it happened in April.
Okay.
Just
So,
going way
Mr.
off your
Hamilton?
stuff. If you can keep your mouth
The
shut.
court
you're
will
gonna get
mail you a notice of your hearing. The pretrial conference, once again, will be October 1st at 9:30 a.m. And you'll hear from your court-appointed attorney by the end of next week. So unless Ms. Mr. Lee has any questions or concerns, the arraignment is completed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Thank you for your appearance this morning, and you are free to leave the meeting.
My Harley.